Good morning. It's Friday here in McAllen, Texas. All right, so yesterday, Thanksgiving, I was watching some marketing videos for real estate professionals, but it was things that I was interested, like how to convert leads into sales. Okay, and so there was a couple statistics that they brought up that the amount of contacts per lead averages about 1.3. So for all these leads that these people are getting, they're only like connecting them with like 1.3 times. And so we're learning, right, that and it's you have somebody has to connect with you like 7 times and be in a positive experience before they actually will do business with you. Isn't that something? And so that's what I've done, and you should do it right away, always in the very beginning when you're adding to your counter. You also add to the campaign manager, because otherwise you have to do what I did and go back and add all them in the counter or they're in the counter into the campaign manager. And when you do that, when you put in the campaign manager, they also go into Salesforce. Okay, so all these different little touches, and see, I used to use exactly the same model when I was in mortgages and real estate. I remember there was one month we were like hurting. We just opened a new office, had a lot of expenses, and the focus wasn't on producing. And now we're at a big goose egg, and we're going to be in trouble. And so I sat down for like 5 days in a row and started grinding, and I produced, that month, $45,000 that month, right? So it's the same thing. So now I've got like close to 270 names in the counter, which is also in the campaign manager, right, and Salesforce, right? But there are different points in relationships. Some people I knew for a long time. Some people I just met. There's a couple people like I got off of LinkedIn that I thought I knew them because their names were familiar. They were in a similar line of work that I'd been in. Or like one guy I thought for sure was a Navy SEAL. He's a contractor, but he's not a Navy SEAL. And we had a really good talk, right? And he used to be with A.O. Williams back in the day. And so it was a very positive talk. Okay. Then another guy, first time, we'd never talked before ever, but we're similar backgrounds and in similar industries that we were familiar with, right? So there's that rapport, right? So in this training for these real estate agents, they're talking about there's this pyramid that on connections, right? So different steps along the way on at what level you can start closing. So once you've made a phone call with somebody, okay, then your chances of actually closing business are a lot greater, okay? But as they're talking, it was awesome. I start feeding into my mind where they are on in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? All right, and so where people are. So if you looking at a real estate transaction, right? That buyer for real estate, they morph into something totally different once that house is closed. Once that deal is closed, they are no longer in the market for real estate. Okay? I mean, maybe a little further down the road, they'll start looking at maybe doing some real estate investing, right? But overall, their whole focus changes. There's a guy I know, and he plugs into my videos once in a while. Him and his partner, they bought a house, and right away, he's thinking about, how long is it take to pay off that mortgage? That's where his brain went right now. All right, and that's not atypical. That's typical on how most people think. So people shift in their mindset right after they buy a house, or right after they get married, or right after they have kids. Right, the shift in their mind. Their mind shifts to a different place. Okay, and so keeping up with that with the Campaign Manager and Salesforce, that's the magic of this, right? You can't just one-time close everybody. And I think that's the mistake a lot of, and once you try to do that, the protective barrier goes up. Because it's like when I was in the SEAL teams, we always had to do point man courses, right? And I grew up in the woods my whole life. Learning to see the forest through the trees is a little trick, okay, and it takes a little practice, and you got to get used to figuring how to do it. But once you do it, you can do it. And so we're in the jungle, or close as you can get is a jungle, right? In either AP Hill or Puerto Rico, and you're doing point man course. And a booby trap course, that's what that basically is. And I would literally just stop for some reason, and then notice there's a tripwire right across, because you're looking down usually, right? You're looking down for tripwire, to trip over. But they put one at chest level, and I'm like, oh, and I just stopped. Why did I stop? I don't know why I stopped, right? Or there'd be other times I would just stop and look around, and I'd see the grenade, the concussion grenade in the tree, and and I'm like, people are like, well, you got a sixth sense or something? And well, what it was is there would always be something, an indicator, like the bend in the trail or a tree leaning across the trail that would make me have to go, and before I would make that move, I would look around. Okay, so it's the same thing when you're dealing with people, right? So they talk about, it's overdone with discipline. Okay, well, nobody ever got disciplined because they were told to be disciplined. All right, they're told what works, and they get conditioned to do what works, and they create a habit of doing what works. In the SEAL teams, they always harped on attention to detail, and it was even after SEAL training was over, and it's every single time something goes wrong, it's a lack of attention to detail. When we were in the Panama invasion, we shouldn't even have been where we were, right? In a lighted runway, there was no cover and concealment. They knew we were coming, so we lost the element of surprise. We had no cover and concealment. All we had was superior firepower. All right, so that's that didn't add up. Okay, but we went anyways, right? And then the other, just all kinds of things along the way where people didn't pay attention to the details, and because of that, there was catastrophic results. Okay, so it's the same thing when we're dealing with people. Okay, and they know that they need to change, right? But they're not sure how to do it yet, okay? And you got to get them, whether it's, their habits of eating out, or their habits of watching tons of TV, right? Or their habits of, going out to the club, right? They're all these habits that that need to be broken, okay? And they actually have discipline toward their bad habits. It's got to change that. The value of doing that has got to be shown to be less than the value of doing something new, okay? And when you can do that in your reticular activating system, and your mind will weigh things. So if you put things to somebody and they like, okay, if you stay where you are, so where are you going to be in 5 years? That's always a good one, right? And if you keep doing what you're doing, are you going to get closer to that goal that you want in 5 years, or do you got to make a change? And if you do this, and even if you fail, are you going to be further or closer to than where you are if you do nothing? Okay, if the odds are that you're going to be closer to that goal by doing something, even if you fail along the way, than you are by doing nothing, that part of your brain looks at, okay, doing nothing is the bad thing, and it'll push them toward action. Okay. So this using the tracker, or the counter, using the counter with the Campaign Manager and Salesforce, every time you get on the phone with them, you're making notes. You're like filling in the gaps, right? And so you're getting a little closer to know what their picture is, right? And because a lot of times people don't know where they want to go. They haven't put it together themselves, okay? But you can kind of get them to figure out, or can help them figure it out for them by talking to them and getting to know what they, I had one of my first, he was a guy, was an IBM executive. He was the owner of a company I worked for. And he said, you got to find their buying rules. I'm like, what are you talking about, buying rules? I know what a buying sign is. I'll jump on that in a minute. Well, buying rules is that inner, that's something that's personal to them, that dictates everything that they do in their life. Okay? And it goes way back to when they're like they were still in their theta brainwave, right? Between the ages of the last trimester of the mother's womb until they're 7 years old. Okay. So for me, I got to watch my dad try to kill my mother. All right? And I'm 4 or 5 years old. My sister and I ran in and wrapped ourselves around my mom to protect him from my dad, right? And from that point on, I've been a protector. It's just, that's in me, right? And so that I have to work out. I have to do it every day, okay? And I prefer doing something like boxing, right? My boxing workouts, right? Because, it makes me more effective as a protector, right? And you almost can't take that away from me. But if you can show me, if you say, okay, by doing what I'm doing, I'm helping people, I'm protecting them financially, right? But also, I can have that, I can have that boxing camp in Michigan, all right, and across from the shooting range, and I can keep myself, functional and be that protector, and I can teach other young men to be that protector, and I can also teach them other things, lessons in life. I swear I'm going to write a book for young men and how to make the right decisions right in your life, or teach a class or whatever on that. But those are the things that are, damn, they're right in with that part of me that dictates everything I do in my life. Okay? And so when you figure that out for people, okay, it makes it so much easier to talk to them, because you got to show them by doing this is going to get you this much closer to that goal, right? That's part of you, that makes you who you are, and we're going to help get you, or that vision that they have in their mind of who they want to be and what they want to do, right? You've got to talk to them that way, okay? So this is all part of that. It's all and when you do it with that intent, right? People will catch on. Right? But if you don't, and they think you're just doing it for the money, or you're just doing it for yourself, you're done. It's like down here in the Rio Grande Valley, they call it El Pobre Cero, right? Which means beggar, but they apply it to like sucking up or brown nosing to the boss, right? If they catch you doing that, they'll never trust you again, right? And so that clashes with the Asian culture, where they're always like, paying homage and showering praise on the leader, right? And then so those people, that type of mentality down here, that conquistador mentality, turns right away from that, and they don't like a suck up, and I mean, they really don't like them. Okay, they much more respect you when you are straightforward with them, and and you can tell them things they may not like to hear, and they will respect you for it. It's kind of interesting, very interesting how that works. All right, so but it's all part of this. It's all, see, we have it, all these pieces. We have the whole puzzle. We just have to put it together. Right, and I'm trying to help you put it together. You put the names, the initial, in the tracker, and then based on what you give them, the steps along the way, giving a savings future book, doing a 7-step presentation with them, right, and go moving them along the path, right. That's part of it, okay. But the other part of it is where are they along the process? Are they single? Are they married? Are they married with kids? Are they married with kids own a house, right? Are their kids starting to look? Are they in middle school? Is college becoming part of something that's people are starting to think about? All of these things, we have the solutions. Okay, we have what it takes, and so there you go. All right, it's Black Friday. Right, I got to try to go to the store and navigate that craziness. Right. Have a great Friday. Bye bye.